Hello all, and welcome to a very special review tonight. Having some technical difficulties, but this is the second time around. Hopefully not going to be a problem, because I'm almost out of this stuff. And what is the stuff I'm speaking of tonight? Well, I am speaking of Kuradashi Genshu Shochu. Now, this is a shochu. Shochu is the national distilled beverage of Japan. It can be made with many things, including rice, barley, buckwheat, chestnuts, basically anything that you can think of that's fermentable and distillable, you can make shochu out of it. In this case, this is Imo Jochu, or sweet potato shochu. Imo meaning sweet potato, Jochu being shochu. The word preceding the word following in Japanese often changes the pronunciation of the word. This is one of my favorite tipples in the world, Imo Jochu. I grew to love it in Japan, particularly during winter. It's very much a warming beverage, and you will see why in just a bit. Now, most shochus come at around 20 to 25% ABV, so 20 to 25% alcohol. This being a Genshu means that it is full strength. It is 37 to 40% alcohol, and sometimes even stronger in very rare cases, but I've never seen any shochu stronger than 40% alcohol in America. Excuse me. Anyways, so shochu, especially shochu, can really range in gamut of tastes, from something almost like a neutral liquor like vodka, and to something, in the case of Imo Jochu, very strong tasting. Why do I have this? Well, it was given to me by a former co-worker who found it far too strong to his taste. As far as I know, this is the only Genshu strength shochu being sold in the United States. It's kind of on the expensive side, $39.99. Shochu is a bit overpriced in the United States and not very well distributed. I wish that would change, because I love shochu so much, especially Imo Jochu. And honestly, tasting it, and the way he was drinking it, yes, I have it poured out here. This is far too strong. This is far too strong in flavor to be drunk straight. I would drink it in another manner, and the manner I like to drink most of my shochu, and that is as a oyuwari. Now, oyuwari is hot water, so this is hot water. I'm going to see if it's cooled down enough. You don't want boiling hot water when you make this. You want something that's just kind of warm. It's a little bit too hot, so I'm just going to go and do a straight test right now. Excuse me. Still getting over that cold. So let's just go and try the straight shochu right now. So it's clear. I've never seen a shochu that has color to it, like even barrel-aged shochus. One thing you should know, especially with Imo Jochu, is that it is incredibly strong smelling and strong tasting. And it's something of an acquired taste. When you pour this, you smell it across the room. That's because it's a particularly strong shochu. So, I poured this, went up and closed the door. I could smell it from all the way at my door. It's fairly thick, as you can see here. Now, what is the smell? The smell is absolutely sublime. The primary thing that you get from shochu is Imo Jochu, and we're tasting an Imo Jochu here. Maybe I'll go and taste some other shochus for you at sometime in the future when I have money, hopefully. But I digress. The primary note in Imo Jochu is of earthiness. You've got this very strong, rooty, rich, earthy smell to it. Underneath that, you have these you have this sort of strong sweetness. And in this case, you have a note of what smells like bitter herbs. And I would say stewed fruits. You get other smells too, but the primary thing you get is of earthiness, and that's why, you know, it is such an... The taste of good quality Imo Jochu, the intensity of taste that it holds is very reminiscent of, say, Isla single malt scotches. That's what kind of intensity of smell and taste I'm talking about here. It doesn't taste anything like in Isla single malt Scotch, Isla single malt Scotch, but it is reminiscent of that intensity, and I can't repeat that enough. Now, while I often enjoy straight Imo Jochu, I would not recommend it particularly for this one. It is rough, incredibly intense. First off, you get a mouthful of earth mixed with that bitter, spicy herbs. There is a very strong sweetness, but it is overpowered by that bitter, spicy herbs. Now, I'm going to say something here. Bitter, spicy herbs is not something you usually get with an Imo Jochu, especially at this intensity, but it's what you get drinking it straight. As such, I find it not very pleasant to drink straight. I haven't tried this on the rocks. I generally don't like Imo Jochu on the rocks because I find it waters down the flavors that I enjoy while intensifying the flavors I don't really, that I could, well, I'm not going to say do without, but, you know, I find it brings it out of my particular taste my particular taste parameters. Your mileage may vary. So, with this, we say adieu to it being drunk straight, and go now to one of my favorite forms of drinking shochu and drinking alcohol in particular, and that is the oyuwari. Now this is mildly hot water. Now real oyuwari, you mix it the day before, you let it sit, and then you slowly heat it, and it's supposed to be sublime. But I don't have the sort of kettle one uses to make true oyuwari, so I kind of go with a barman's oyuwari, which is this sort of mildly hot water, not boiling hot, you want it just mildly hot, nothing that'll scald the tongue. Something like around green tea sort of hot, I would say. Now, in this case, because it's a Genshu, we're going to be mixing this 50-50. For a regular strength shochu, you would go about 7-5. 7 of course being the shochu. Now this is a great warming beverage. Pour it slowly, let it kind of seep in there so it mixes nicely. You can see, well, I guess you can't really see it in the camera, but you see that alcohol mixing nicely with the water. When you see that stuff stop diffusing as much, then it's time to drink. But before you drink, smell. It is sublime. The earthy notes are much more clarified and pure smelling. And the sweetness is magnified and weaves its way through that earth. The bitter notes have been tamed. The bitter notes in this particular Imo Jochu have been tamed. So now you're sort of left with this smell of perhaps it's difficult to explain. I guess you could say, like, I don't know, a hot summer shower falling on a garden, and then the sun comes out again, and all that that earth kind of steams from from the heat of the sun just beating on it after that rain soaks it. You add that, you get a sweet scent, very sweet scent to it, kind of almost floral, kind of almost fruity, like fruit flowers. It's just absolutely lovely. It is something I would recommend to everyone who loves drinking. It is one of those things in alcohol that I find. The taste, immediately sweet, earthy, then the mid-palate, bitter herbs kick in, with just a light touch of spice. Then a finishing ghost of sweetness and earthiness on the tongue. At the proper heat, I timed it a little bit wrong. I'd like it to be just a little bit warmer. Proper heat, when it's cold, feel it go all the way down and it warms you from the inside out. This is a beverage where each sip makes me sigh. Totally unrelated to a review right now, but you know where Proust goes and talks about the smell of lemon tea and madeleines? This is this for me. The smell and taste of this takes me back to my happiest moments in Japan. Listening to Enka music, staring out the window, smoking and drinking this. It's one of those moments that I truly felt at peace. Pretty rare for me. This is a beverage where it goes beyond the aesthetic feel of taste and whatnot. It merges with music, with an emotional feeling of longing, and so much more. While I can't guarantee that it will do that for you, I can guarantee that for the adventurous drinker looking for something intense, something unique, something new, Kuradashi Genshu Shochu, or any Imo Jochu actually, it'll give you a real taste of Japan that you usually don't get to see or taste too much. And who knows, maybe you'll become as sentimentally attached to it as I am. But for now, I would like to go and leave you off with a song. One of my favorites while I was in Japan. Here we go. Some of you may recognize this from the Kill Bill soundtrack. You're the flower. He praises you. But if you bloom, he will get you scattered. Stupid. So stupid. So stupidly, I go singing my grudge song. You can accept your sad fate. But when you cry, it'll make you cry more. Well, I'm not even going to bother doing the translation. Just listen. I need a cigarette right now. Sayonara, folks.